This week on Salmon Showdown, it's week 2. Can you feel the love?
Love you, brother.
The conditions are favorable,
Another beautiful day here in St. Joe, Michigan. Cloudy with a chance of salmon.
but big kings aren't the only thing lurking in these Lake Michigan waters.
16 years I've never hit a log after the props are smoked.
Hey, things can only get better, right? So dry your eyes. Maybe grab a sandwich. It's time for another Salmon Showdown.
Yeah, buddy.
Welcome to Salmon Showdown. Week 2 on the Garmin Tournament Trail lands us in St. Joe, Michigan, site of the Schu's Summer Challenge. This tournament, which is run by the Southwest Michigan Steelheaders, has a proud history of attracting the most prominent teams on the lake with its big cash payouts and high-dollar Calcutta side bets. 14 teams will be taking Founders Cup scores here this weekend, and we've got a seat for you on board 2 of those teams in St. Joe. First up, Team Special Ed. Mike Dombrowski leads this team that consists of his wife, Emily, Morgan Smith, and Owen Lilich. They'll be fishing out of a 306 Grady White Canyon that hails out of the port of New Buffalo. As they head out to stage for the shotgun start, Mike reviews their plan of attack.
Well, we're gonna go fish probably 140 to 180. And there's a group of buildings south from here. They call them the chalets. A bunch of A-frame houses right on the beach, a little bit north of Cook Plant. And we fished that water yesterday. I like what we see. We could go other places, but I think we're gonna go pound it out over there.
Our other featured team here at the Schu Summer Challenge is Underdog. This 29-foot Tierra Open makes its home in Michigan City, Indiana, and is led by Captain Josh Wilson. Josh's crew consists of Matt Hughes, Nick Lorano, Jeremy Curtis, and Danny Taylor. Josh's early plan is to keep it close and go for silvers.
We're gonna fish right up front here. We're gonna fish for kings first and try to mix in our trout. Get everything else we need.
So, with their plans in place, all that's left to do is wait for the official shotgun start to the day 1 fishing period.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good luck, guys. Be safe. Back inside the pier heads, inside the Winning Angel boat at 1:30. Good luck.
With that, the race is on as nearly 60 boats put the throttle down and scatter across the Lake Michigan surface en route to their starting positions. It was supposed to be a short run for Team Underdog, but not this short. Their plan was to fish out front of St. Joe in hopes of finding some big early morning kings. What they actually found on the way was much bigger and much worse. That is a log, a big one, probably close to 20 feet in length, and Team Underdog just ran right over it.
Dude, I was staring at the water. I didn't see it. Yeah, I hit my the props are smoked.
There are many things that can happen after striking a log of that size, and none of them are good.
How bad do you feel it on the wheel? Do you feel a vibration? Throw out on the port motor. Sidle out real quick, get to 80 foot and we'll troll out.
Their initial inspection shows that one motor is still functioning, so they're not dead in the water, which is at least a bit of a silver lining. But they will be severely limited in where they can go and how fast they can get there. Meanwhile, Special Ed has set up shop off the chalets, and they're about to get their first taste of what the lake has to offer here.
Yes! Not bad. A little bigger than that, but we'll
Start.
take it.
That's a start.
Back on Underdog, they're just limping along and testing the motors, trying to find out just how bad this situation is.
See what it does when you go up. Basically loud. You gotta go though to see what it really. It's
The Lake Michigan surface covers over 22,000 square miles. The log they hit, maybe 20 square feet. You'd probably have better odds at winning the lottery, and that of course comes with a much more desirable payout.
16 years I've never hit a log. I ran over carpet one year, indoor-outdoor carpet that intertwined in my props.
Now we're really gonna have to make everybody know.
Back on Special Ed, there is a noticeable difference in team morale.
Where's it at, Mike?
But morale is a funny thing, and sometimes the higher it gets, the harder it falls.
Come off.
Came off. Oh my God.
Salmon Showdown is brought to you by Moonshine Lures, quality super glow lures for salmon, trout, and walleye. Go Lake Marine, first on the water since 1911. Magnum Metals, dominate the depths. Welcome back to Salmon Showdown. It is day one at the Schu's Summer Challenge out of St. Joe, Michigan, and Team Underdog may be down, but they're not out. It's a decent king, one that on any other day would have likely elicited a more energetic response. But after a chance meeting with a 20-foot log took out one of their motors, it's hard to shake the feeling that once they get back to shore, they're going to have much bigger fish to fry. Meanwhile, they're still seeing action on board the Special Ed, and while losing a fish doesn't really compare to losing a motor, it's still got Mike dwelling on what could have been.
Well, I would have liked to stuck that little bigger king that we had on. And we seem to keep picking away at these lake trout, so we'll have those taken care of. Hopefully we can just work on our silvers.
Underdog is also picking away at them as the day one fishing period progresses, but both teams still waiting for something special that'll warrant a trip to the Founders Cup scales. Sometimes on the trail, you have to look elsewhere to find a way to boost morale. And if the big fish aren't biting, the next best thing is obviously a round of PB&Js for the crew. So their makeshift kitchen might be missing one key utensil, but a butter knife isn't the only way to spread that creamy, chunky goodness.
Spoon.
I've been using it all year.
While Team Special Ed works on filling their stomachs, Underdog is working on filling their box.
Bring him right. Good job. Woo.
Back on Special Ed, lunchtime is over, and it appears that it may have been just the break they needed.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Right there. Lift up.
Yes! That's a nice little 333 box.
Yeah, baby!
Love you, brother. That's the one we had on this morning.
That late king has Special Ed riding high as they head into the day one scales.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Team Special Ed.
Special Ed's weighing one fish today. We'll get 2 slobs tomorrow.
All right. He's pretty slobby right now. 18-20.
Take it.
I would think so. That's the biggest I've seen so far. Good. I'm glad
Brent?
you enjoyed it. You want a copy, Mike?
Yes. Thank you.
Yep.
Can I take that?
Silverfish. All right, 13.10. You want them?
I do.
For Team Underdog, 13 and change is the biggest to come out of their box, but with their boat now on a lift and awaiting inspection, they decide to hold off at the scales and go all in on day number 2. That's assuming they'll be able to fish at all. Salmon Showdown is brought to you by Clemens Boats, your Great Lakes Albemarle dealer. Purple Taco Fly Supply. Create your own trolling flies. Ray's Eyewear. It pays to wear Ray's.
Official tournament time is 6:30. 6:30. Shotgun start at 6:45. We have 15 minutes, guys.
Another beautiful day here in St. Joe, Michigan. Cloudy with a chance of salmon.
The final fishing period of the Schu's Summer Challenge is about to get underway, and while Mike's forecast calls for kings, Mother Nature's calls for showers throughout the day. Nothing strong enough to keep these teams off the water, but it definitely will be enough to rain on their parade. The plan on Special Ed is to return to similar waters, but with a slight adjustment to zero in on the early bite.
Hopefully we land right on them today and we don't have that little bit of downtime in the morning that we had yesterday, and pick our way through 140, 150 and do a little tighter lines than we did yesterday, stay a little tighter. Seems like some fish in the middle of our 2 marks weren't really chewing. There was one spot where fish were chewing and they weren't chewing, and then one other spot where fish were chewing. So hopefully we can kind of tighten up our circles a little bit today and stay in them.
So in a nutshell, the more chewing, the better for Team Special Ed. As the shotgun start draws near, Tournament Control broadcasts a quick warning to be on the lookout for logs.
Also, there was some debris floating around at the head of the pier yesterday. Had a couple boats have some issues hitting some of that debris, so be careful on takeoff and coming in.
So that brings us to an update on Team Underdog, who got up close and personal with that debris just yesterday. After pulling their boat for a full inspection, the damage turned out to be about as bad as it gets. Both props, both shafts, rudders and struts all need to be replaced, and the starboard transmission needs to be repaired. Add it all up, and it comes out to a very long and very costly process, one that leaves them no choice but to withdraw from the event.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good luck, everyone.
Let's go
See you back
fishing.
inside the pier heads at 1:30.
But like they say, the show must go on, so welcome aboard the Flat Out 2. If that name rings a bell, it's likely because they were featured in multiple past seasons of Salmon Showdown. Owned by Mike Marsh and captained by Dave Baker, it is the largest boat competing on the circuit, and luckily, this 58-foot Donzi has plenty of room to take on a last-second camera crew. Flat Out 2 hits their spot fairly quickly, and it doesn't take long for them to see some action. Over on the Special Ed, the forecasted rain is now confirmed, and they're about to see if they can say the same for the Kings. It's not the early start they were hoping for, but apparently there's a very scientific reason for this morning's delayed bite.
It's a little late morning. What's today? Saturday. Those salmon, they stay up late and party all night on Fridays. So I tend to start a little bit later on Saturday mornings. Nursery, leopard salmon.
It appears this leopard salmon, also known as a lake trout, wasn't invited to that big king party last night, and it looks like the actual salmon might still be nursing their hangovers. Back on Flat Out, it appears they've stumbled across a BOGO bite of sorts. Tournament trail events carry a 9-rod limit. It is, however, within the rules to deploy sliders. It's a rigging technique that enables a single rod to pull 2 baits. While the use of the slider rig itself is very common, actually getting bit on both of those baits, that's pretty rare.
Walker doesn't do a lot, but when he does it right.
Salmon Showdown is brought to you by Dreamweaver, leading the way in big lakes trolling gear. Jacobs Financial Services, keep your money safe. Garmin, explore their full line of marine products at Garmin.com. We are well into the final day for the Schu's Summer Challenge in St. Joe, where the late morning rain is picking up, and so is the action on board the Special Ed.
Lift up, Mike. You got 2 over there, buddy. You got 2 over there.
Ready? Here it comes. Yeah! Snap it. Yes! Yeah. Yes! We got a twin on.
That's a beauty, and right now it's just half the story as Morgan is now working the rod to complete this double.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, start walking backwards and reeling at the same time. Keep walking. That's not
Lift up, lift up.
trying, buddy. Hang on. Be patient. Snap it. Yeah! Hi, you guys.
That's an upgrade.
Yes! That's a good trout for what we've been catching.
Over on Flat Out, they're still seeing action as we approach the end of the fishing period. They've put plenty of fish in the box today, but they've struggled to find the big ones that they need for the Founders Cup race.
Yeah, I see a fucking board go. Pap, pap. I'm like, let it just come back.
It's the opposite story on Special Ed. They did find some size today, but with time running out, they're pulling lines to head back with a box that's 1 fish shy of the daily limit. It's a 10-point deficit that could have a huge impact on their standing in the host tournament. Or maybe not.
Here it is.
Slow down.
Here it is.
Turns out there's a little shaker on their last line. It is just big enough to be legal and just in time to secure their limit and the 10 extra points that come with it. So the final fishing period is complete, and for Team Special Ed, they are confident that they've got what they need to boost their standing in the Founders Cup race.
We have a nice 333 box. We really do. Probably start throwing some fish down on the floor. We weighed a nice one yesterday. We're gonna weigh 2 today. That other big king, which might be close to 18.
As for Team Flat Out, they'll add a 13-pound Laker and a 9-pound King to complete their 333 score at a total weight of 37.7 pounds. Special Ed finished up with a couple of Kings that clocked in at 17 and 14 pounds. All total, it puts them just over 50 pounds on 3 fish, and that will get them a big number when we translate it to points and add it in to the Founders Cup leaderboard. Let's start with Team Underdog. After striking that log on day number 1 and being unable to fish on day 2, they get stuck with a goose egg. It is a setback, but it's not the end of the world. Founders Cup scoring does allow teams to drop their lowest overall score, but they've got no room left for error, and right now they're just hoping to be able to get their boat back up and running before the next event. Despite a disappointing score of 52-66, Flat Out 2 moves up a couple of spots into the top 4. It's still early though, and scores in the 50s and 60s likely won't keep a team in contention for long. Special Ed does make a big jump from 9th all the way to 2nd. Out of a possible 100 points, they post a score of 97.37, which is the second highest single tally so far this year. Of course, it's still far too early to tell which teams will rise, which teams will fall, and which team will eventually hoist the Founders Cup trophy. So we bid a fond farewell to the port of St. Joseph, Michigan. Special thanks to the Southwest Michigan Steelheaders and to Schu's Bar and Grill for their hard work in putting on the annual Schu's Summer Challenge. And congrats to the winners from each division here this weekend. The Southwest Michigan Steelheaders is a group of dedicated anglers that work hard to protect and promote the sport fishery of the Great Lakes, tributaries, and inland waters. To find out more about the group, its goals, and the Summer Challenge, go to swmisteelheaders.com. It'll be back on the trail next season, and we'd love to have you join us. We'd also love to have you join us next weekend for Stop 3 on the Garmin Tournament Trail. It's the South Haven Steelheaders Sand Dollar Pro-Am, and it will be the focus of the next Salmon Showdown.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Wave Pro. Best ride on the water. Online at waveproshock.com.